Alright, so I'm currently trying to platinum every single type of EA game that there is out there, and if I can't do it before the channel hits 1 million subscribers, then my punishment is I have to platinum Fortnite, one of the longest, hardest, and most grindy games of all time. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Anyways, today I chose to platinum a game called Burnout Paradise, which is the newest and, from what I know, final Burnout game inside of the Burnout Racing series from EA. These games all came out a very long time ago, and thankfully this one, being Burnout Paradise, got a remaster a few years back that helps it both play well but still hold up in 2025. And if you don't know what the Burnout games are from EA, because they are probably one of the lesser known series from them, they are essentially more of an arcadey style racing game, and very much like a racing game you would play in an actual arcade. The style is very simple. They even went so far as to not have a single person in the game. It's literally just cars, and I am 100% fine with that. I hate people. But Burnout Paradise has 49 total trophies including the platinum. Took me less than 15 hours to complete, but it does have a few online trophies that could be troublesome if you don't have assistance or 8 PlayStations to do it. But with that said, let's get right into the video. So stage 1 is to work your way up to the Burnout class license, which is the final new title you get in the game on your driver's license. You might be asking how you get a better license and the Burnout license. Well, you just have to win races or events to get a new mark on your license, until it no longer requires any more and you have the Burnout class. And that's essentially the only goal of this game. Everything else is up to you in terms of exploration, fun. You can go about this game's platinum any way you please. For those of you that watch me who are new to trophy hunting, this is a great game to start on because it's so simple. The online trophies later, however, are a bit annoying, but other than that, the game is a breeze. The first few trophies I got today are also sort of cluttered together, but my very first one was called Repair Your Car from driving through any auto repair shop in the game. And this was also a suggested activity to do when first beginning because the game gives you a completely busted car to start off with. But when you first begin this game, you can literally do anything. There isn't much of a tutorial, to be honest, aside from this radio dude talking to you. On-screen text at the bottom, and you just begin doing events. The first one I did was also a road rage, which is an interesting choice looking back at it. But these are insanely fun because Burnout Paradise's wreck mechanics are absolutely brutal, and they mix slow motion into the game so well, it's very impressive. I also did get a trophy during my first event from getting my third takedown in the game, and here is that. I was then still inside of the same road rage and absolutely harassing the AI when I already won well over the score limit, but I ended up driving for 547 yards on the wrong side of the road, which is a trophy that you will almost 100% get naturally. Now, since this is a racing game, I would then do my first actual race of the game, and these are typically just point-to-point races. I actually don't think there's a single lap or circuit race in the game, which is very unique compared to other car games out there. However, when I won this first race, it gave me a trophy from that, but also from reaching my D-class license, which is the first one you get in the game after winning a few events. Now, this goes from D to C to B to A, and then to Burnout class, which is that trophy we are after. I think in total, you need to win over 100 events across all the tiers, probably a little bit more than that, to be honest, but it's really not that bad considering events only take a few minutes to win if you don't fuck it up on the way. But anyways, I was on another race right after that one finished, and during this race, it led us across the main bridge in Paradise City, and on this bridge, there's a ton of super jumps, which once completing, you get a trophy from it. I also came back and used this bridge a load of times later on for stunt points in stunt events, because it's in my opinion the best location to farm stunt jumps, as you can clearly tell. Now, after winning events and reaching new license tiers, you also unlock new cars to take down and own throughout the game, and a few of them are required for trophies from just taking them down in general. One of which is called the Nakamura SI7, and I spotted it because it was driving recklessly compared to the normal AI cars. Took them down, and I got the trophy pop along with the car not being drivable for myself as well. The next trophy I got was then from surviving my first marked man event in this game. A marked man event is when you become marked on the map, and these very strong AI cars come after you, trying to take you down before you reach your destination. Now, later on in this game, when you actually get good cars, doing marked men becomes a bit boring because the AI can't compete. But for now, being a little baby still, they were horrifying, and I had to visit numerous repair shops in the middle of the events in fear of dying. However, I survived somehow and got the trophy right here. I would then do my first stunt run of the game, and these are the stunt events that I mentioned a few seconds ago. But you just have to reach the given stunt score by chaining drifts, boosts, jumps, air tricks, all of the above together. And here's a little tip for you all: getting airtime and using a lot of different ramps will up the multiplier you have, allowing for high scores to be reached. I ended up with a considerably good one on this first run, and I scored well over the limit and over 50,000 itself, which was a trophy from scoring over 50,000 on a stunt run. I also got a trophy here from just winning any stunt run naturally. And like usual in most car games, this one also has smashable collectibles in the form of billboards. I think some Need for Speed games also do have these, if I remember correctly, but this game ultimately requires you to smash 60 of them for a gold trophy later on. However, there is about 200 I think total, and you also get a trophy for just smashing 3 of them, which pop for me right here. Another type of collectible in this game is also these things called yellow gates, which just mark off typically paths that are either shortcuts to roads, roads, hills, hidden areas, or even billboard jumps most of the time. Pretty much any path that isn't a road has a yellow gate on it, and you have to smash 200 different ones for a trophy later on, but don't worry, there is 400 total, so you won't miss this whatsoever. However, like the billboards, there's a trophy from just hitting 10 of the gates to start off with, and here's that. The next event I did was another road rage event, and I absolutely abused the AI once more. I have great fear that once AI becomes fully sentient, they will take these kind of things out on us and I'm screwed. But winning this event was the final one I needed for my C-class driver's license, and that trophy popped right after I won. I then got a trophy called Jump Dead Man's Edge from hitting a jump on a special spot on the map called Dead Man's Edge. Also, almost every trophy in this game has the title of it just describe exactly what you're supposed to do, which is kind of funny. Shout out to the silver trophy called Drive Through 200 Yellow Gates. I can't imagine what that means you need to do. But anyways, I hit the jump. Didn't know it was a trophy when I was doing it. I actually think I hit it because I wasn't going to make the turn in time without wrapping my car around the edge. Anyways, the next trophy I got was from smashing my 50th yellow gate. Yes, they give you multiple trophies from smashing yellow gates. This game is an amazing profile booster, I can't lie. Also, my account on PSN Profiles is low-key getting up there in the leaderboards, and one day I will be ranked 1. Mark my words. But back to the game, the trophies did start to get a bit more spread out because I kind of did all these base things in the game up to this point, or I at least spread out what I was doing across everything possible, which allowed for quite a few simple trophies. So they did begin to get a bit more grindy and long is what I'm trying to allude to. One of which was gotten from hitting 10 super jumps in the game. And this is probably the hardest collectible to get because there's only 50 super jumps total, which is starkly less compared to the 400 yellow gates that there is. But hitting 10 gets you the trophy, so here it is. I would then accidentally dip my toes into a bit of the online kind of play trophies. But it was just from beating an original time road rule score. This game has two types of scores on roads. One of them is time from racing down a road fast enough to either beat your friend's time or the game's set time. And the other is called Showtime, which is a very fun smashing traffic minigame type thing that I'll talk about more when we get to it. But for now, I just beat a set time on a road and got the trophy from it. Also, fuck you to anyone who has me added on PlayStation. You guys set some insanely fast times and I do not appreciate it. I couldn't beat any of y'all's road times and I'm pissed. But at this point in the game, I was quite a few hours in deep and I finally got my hands on a special speed class car in the game. And they obviously specialize in going fast, so much so that you can't boost until the meter is full, but when it is, it's absolutely insane. And if you use all the boosts without hitting something or stopping it, you start a boost chain. Getting a chain of 2 is also a trophy, which I got right here. I was then on my final event before getting B class on my driver's license, and someone on fucking PlayStation who called me the N-word got us both in trouble in DMs because the dumbass AI PlayStation has picks up that shit nowadays. And please guys, if you're gonna DM me begging for a friend request, don't get mad at me when I say no. It fucks up my account, as I've said, and you're gonna drag us both down in the process. But after I closed that bullshit out, I won my event and got the B class trophy. Anyways, I then just kept on playing. The trophies really dried up like your mother's pussy, and the next one I got was about 30 minutes later. But it was just from getting a boost chain of 4 this time, which is actually kind of hard to do. However, I did because I'm a professional racist and here's a trophy. Over an hour later, I was still just grinding out events and I did another road rage. These also did, by the way, get harder as you played more like you'd expect. But on one of them, I crashed into the metal siding of an auto repair shop and I couldn't for the life of me reverse enough and drive around it, so I just drove through it during a road rage event, which was a trophy for some odd reason. I would then end up playing another stunt event, and once getting a needed score, it unlocked my A-class license, and here's that trophy. Now, if you remember a while ago in this video, I talked about road time scores and how you needed to drive fast down a road to beat it for trophies. But the other version of that is called a Showtime, and it's this arcade, almost phone game type gameplay where you press L1 and R1 on the controller, and it activates this crashing minigame on any road with a score to beat for the high score you need to get. Most of them are very easy, especially since you can take the crash anywhere and it does not need to stay on the road you're trying to get a high score on, which I found kind of odd. But you can get multipliers by hitting buses, which are completely RNG if they show up. However, when they do, you better smash them because they are essentially needed to get high scores. Once reaching a multiplier of 3, you also get a trophy as well. And when I finished the first one off and beat the score, I got a trophy from that, as you would expect. I then sat there and grinded out 10 more road high scores in the Showtime game mode because I figured it wouldn't really come on accident like the time ones do sometimes. During this little grind fest, I also got one more trophy. It was from reaching a multiplayer of 5 this time, not 3, which is a bit harder. 30 minutes or so later, I then finished my 10th Showtime and I set the new score getting a trophy. I then did 2 more easy trophies before getting off to go set up these online trophies in the game. The first one I did was from simply going through a gas station in a race, which is very self-explanatory, and here it is. I then just drove through a paint shop for the first time, which was another trophy, and again, very simple, so here it is. Now, if you guys watched my last video or 2 videos ago, I don't know when this is going to release, and there's some behind the scenes stuff with the Split Fiction video since it's sponsored, as you may or may not know. video. But what I am trying to say is if you watch my newest Battlefield 4 video, then you'll know that I spent about $3,000 on PlayStation 5 to boost that game's trophies because none of the people in my Discord would help or could help. And that was true with this game as well. There is 4 trophies that require online assistance from players or friends, with 1 requiring cooperation between 8 people. Almost an impossible task with randoms. It's called 8 Players Meet in the Wildcats Baseball Stadium, awarded for meeting up with 7 other players inside of the Wildcats Baseball Stadium in an online game. So I booted up all my PS5s, logged in on almost all of them, 6 for that matter. Then I had my main PlayStation I've been using for ages, and one of my boys, Goose, who helped in other videos, also joined because he was on and needed this trophy for the plat. Also being his last trophy in the game, as a matter of fact. And this took a bit of time to set up because I was just getting the PS5s working, and I actually did this trophy before even finishing Battlefield 4 as a test to see if they were all working right. Turns out they were. And after I got all the consoles running, I drove over to the stadium one by one, lined everybody up, and once the final car drifted in, the trophy popped, and that is the hardest trophy of the game finished, to be honest, if you're doing this normally. So I then turned off all the PS5s besides one of them and used that as a dummy account to grind out the other 3 online trophies. Doing the 2 regarding the challenges first. A free burn challenge, by the way, is an online challenge, and the first 10 or so are very simple, pretty much consisting of challenges like drifting a few yards, getting some airtime, meeting up at certain locations. Overall, they're just easy. So I just did both of the given challenges with my 2 accounts, and I got both the online trophies from free burn challenges very easily. I then simply got the last online trophy once I spotted a jump, put my other account below it, then jumped myself, and the trophy popped, finishing off the online portion of this game, thank God. I also do think I'm going to grind out the online trophies in games first from now on, just because they are so annoying and uncertain to complete most times. But some other trophies I did get while doing these free burn challenges were from hitting 30 billboards and accidentally landing a barrel roll jump, which is kind of hard to do in this game, but when you pull it off, it's extremely badass, and here's a trophy. I also set my 10th road time score finally, and it was on accident like I said it probably would be done by. But before I locked in for the final trophies of this game, I just got 2 from going to hidden locations of the game, that being the airfield and the quarry. Both are easily found if you follow the trophy guide, and you get both trophies once you're just entering them at the very cups of it. And as I said earlier when talking about the Yellow Gates trophies, I finally managed to hit my 200th one for that trophy, and this is pretty much natural if you hit them as you play or just on accident in races or when exploring, but I did also go off and chase them down on purpose here and there when I was bored or just zoned out while playing. But either way, once breaking 200 of them, the trophy pops, so that's cool, and here it is. I then managed to finally unlock the Carson Inferno van, which is one of the goofiest cars in this game to take down because it's very, very strong. But once I did take it down, it gave me a trophy from just taking it down in general. I also then would drive it and started a road rage for a trophy from doing exactly that, which is funny. And I was nearing the Burnout class at this point, so I made sure to do this trophy called Complete 5 Burning Routes, awarded when you complete the 5th one, obviously. But a burning route is a time trial that is given to every single car in this game. And once you get in the routes respective of a car, it kind of gives you a star on the map to where its time trial is at if you found it. And all you have to do is drive over, begin the race, then reach the finish line in the given amount of time. And I didn't have trouble with any of them that I did, so this is a very simple and easy trophy. Also, all the events count towards your license as well, so it's easy progress, and here's a trophy after I did complete 5 of them. I then grinded out 2 easiest trophies from straight up miscellaneous things. First from power parking, which is just by drifting with square into a parking lot. I was very unsure of how to do this or if I did it right, but after a little back and forth, it popped, so yeah, I guess I got it. I then did a 180-degree flat spin, which I still don't understand how the flat spin works in this game because mine was very, very scuffed, but the trophy popped and they can't take it back now. I would then unfortunately begin a bit of an annoying exploration trophy stage, from finding every event in every car park in the game. The event trophy wasn't that bad because all the events show up on the map once you find them. However, finding the 10 I missed was kind of annoying. Shout out to maps from the internet. But as I was driving around to find these events, I was occasionally going after billboards because I still need to hit 60 for that trophy. Anyways, I found all the events and I got that trophy finally. It wasn't too bad. But then I had to chase down the car parks and there's only 11 of them. But they do not show up on the map at all whether you find them or not, which is super fucking dumb. This game tracks like every other activity besides this one, and it's a trophy. I find that silly, developers, I really do. But I also did use a map and I just missed one, which is very annoying. However, it might have been beneficial because I revisited all the car parks about 2 or 3 times and I nailed all the billboards near them, which got me the 60 billboard trophy pop, so that's awesome. And I finally did find that car park I was missing, getting the trophy upon entering it ever so slightly. Just put the tip in is all I have to say.
What did he say? Oh my god!
I then had a single event left before Burnout class license, and during it I also managed to reach 750 miles driven, which is insane timing, and that's a trophy if you didn't know. But then I literally finished the event, which was an easy marked man, and got the Burnout license with the platinum trophy pop, and I was not expecting to platinum the game right now, but hey, I did it and I'm not complaining. So that was the Burnout Paradise platinum trophy experience. Overall, I think the game is great. It's a very good straight up card game without much else in it that I really appreciate. I do think the online trophies are a bit annoying, and if it weren't for my personal boosting setup I now have to use on these games, I'm not sure I would have gotten it so easily. I tried to ask for help, but only a few people were able to, and again, I just hate online trophies. I will die on this hill, but online trophies in video games f***ing blow ass. They are just not needed. But anyways, that's all for today. More videos coming soon, and thank you all for watching me be a professional racist.